Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my pod. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, I recently started a podcast on Anchor called Council of Ace, where I decided to talk about conversations I normally have with myself. Sometimes in the shower, sometimes while thinking about life, sometimes just randomly just sitting on my couch. I decided to make this podcast because I wanted to engage more with people out there that probably have the same thoughts as I do, and just share some perspectives on things that are not necessarily tech related or like critical to everyday life, so to speak. Recently I made a very honest mistake where I was on a video call with a couple of my friends. I thought I was muted, but I wasn't. So my video and my audio was on while I was recording the podcast, and they enjoyed what they heard and saw basically. So like, why not just make a video version of the podcast as well? Well, it doesn't hurt to try, so I'll just go for it. So if you really like what you watch in this video, you can listen on Spotify, you can listen on YouTube like this, and you can also listen on Anchor, even Apple Podcasts or whatever they call that stuff. Yeah, you can listen anywhere, everywhere when this eventually comes out. So thank you guys for sticking by, and I hope you enjoy the video as well. So a couple of years ago, I got into university, basically my first year, and after a while, I started, getting this form of little fame, so to speak, and for a large part of it, I realized that I started acting differently a little bit, to be honest, where I saw that people wanted to who is this kid, or who is this person. Started right from when I was in school, to be honest. Started from when I built a social media platform, but then some of the people that just knew about it just knew that there was this guy called Ace Kid. Everyone knew me like in person, but there was this little bit of fame there, and the truth was, for some reason, I don't know how I came about it, I don't know what really influenced me. It didn't change me too much as I would have expected, because it didn't just reduce, it kept getting higher, because I was like a workaholic when I was in school. We were doing all different kinds of programs, and there were like different reasons for more people to get to like IP up, so to speak. And you know how Nigerians hype people about all this stuff. So in my time, I realized there was this saying I realized so early, and I don't even know where I got it from, because it's not like I had to sit down with my parents or anyone that even exactly taught me this. Is the fact that hype is very, very temporary, right? So when you build a solution, or you make a lot of money, or you do something that is just incredulous, and everyone is like, oh my god, this guy is awesome, this guy is the best, this guy is this guy is that. It's easy for stuff like that to get into your head, right? You're like, oh yes, I'm the bomb, I'm all these things. But the secret, or the real truth behind this thing, is that everything is temporary. Every single thing is temporary, because people have like short-term memory. People do not remember what you did last year. Like, they even say it in that you either die a hero or you live long enough to be a villain. So it's because humans basically have short-term memory, and it's the most recent thing that you do that counts, right? So if you feel like you've gotten to a point where you are like the next big thing, and you're working hard, and you have this hype surrounding you, there's a way it gets to your head where you're like, oh yeah, I'm the bomb, I can do whatever it is I want to do. But for some reason, in my early stage of this status, or whatever the case is at that time, there was this thing that just kept going through my head like every single time. I've said it to some of my friends, some of my acquaintances, and I don't know if anyone that I've said it to might be watching this video and remember that I actually did say this to them. But it's the fact that hype is very, very, very temporary. And one of the things that infected me with that thought was when I watched Rocky. That was like a movie. I like making movie references, I'm sorry. It was when I watched Rocky. And if you're a fan of Rocky, you look at from the very first Rocky, even up to Creed, there's this mentality that is like circulated in that entire movie, is the fact that things change very fast. And from someone like Rocky, that was like a hardcore boxer being washed up, and then he's seen like an has-been, and like the entire hype surrounding his entire existence just vanished when he became old. So like this was one of my biggest fears. Like when I go older, even in my 30s, 40s, and 50s, and I can't walk, or I can't do stuff as I used to do. I don't want to have that feeling that I'm washed up, or that I can't do anything basically. So there's this fear at the back of my mind that has that as a result of that kind of movie that I watched, and it's everywhere around us. It's in sports, it's in career, it's in everything. People are so quick to call people has-beens. People are so quick to call people washed up. LeBron James, the washed up king. So my point is that because of the way society is, right, you need to remind yourself every single day that hype is very, very temporary, and you do the work for the love of the work, for either for the love of the work actually, or for the money, or to get what you want at that point in time. But you do not have an everlasting source of that something of hype that you've deposited somewhere, or that people always believe in you, so to speak. But the fact is that you just have to work hard to know that anything you want, you have to continuously refresh yourself and make sure you're putting yourself in the best position to provide value always. Because no matter the amount of hype you get today, no matter your position or whatever it is today, everything is either going to get better or worse in the future. And you'll not always have that same level of hype or reputation. So it's up to you to realize that you need to always renew your hype if that's what you are looking for. But always know what you are into something for, and always try to get that value out of it for yourself. Alright guys, have a good one.